I was listening to the radio, and 1015 reported that our governor signed the rain tax for the state of New Jersey. And folks, I'm going to tell you something. This is a crime. This is a crime. The rain tax. It's another money grab. And I'm going to tell you, as your mayor, I am thoroughly disgusted by it. And I know the council is also. It's a typical Trenton tax. They're going to tax you. They're going to make us create the stormwater utility, or I'll call it the rain utility, and they're going to have us collect it. So it looks like your local government is doing this to you, when in turn, it's our legislators in the State House, both in the Senate and the Assembly. I'm going to make you a pledge as your mayor. We may have to do this, but we're going to be the last town in New Jersey to do it. Mr. Triarci, I'm going to ask you as our counsel to read the bill. If you think there's an area that we could sue to stop it, we'll take that lead also. Enough is enough. What they're doing to the people in this state is a crime. And here's the caveat. Here's the little kicker that they make everyone get a little taste of. Out of that utility, the township would be able to keep 5% for their budget and send Trenton 5% for their already bloated spending budget that they have down in Trenton. So that's the caveat to try to make the towns shut up about it and be happy about it. We're not happy about it. We don't need the 5%. We don't need the 2% on the marijuana tax, which we're going to be banning that here within the next month anyway. We don't need that kind of money. That's blood money. And the blood is also when you're taking money out of people's pockets now for rainwater. Yes, in the big shopping centers like at the Commons, there's provisions for stormwater and blah, blah, blah. And I understand that. Don't agree with all of it, but I understand it. Now they want us to start a utility to charge you for rain. The only other thing I could think of, and I'll make a little joke, but it's hard to make one today, we're 4.5 square miles unless I can get a 4.5 square mile umbrella made and put it over Clark. Because what they do in Trenton, folks, because this is the bully state. This is the bully state. When you read the legislation, then they'll put on the very last line, any governing body, mayor, who doesn't comply will be hit with this exorbitant fine and could face up to jail time. We'll make it a sanctuary state. We'll let illegal immigrants in here and turn our back in a blind eye to what they're doing because we're a sanctuary state. But we're going to put people in jail because they don't want to tax you. Anybody in the State House that voted for this, I'm sorry, and I have friends there, and there's some people I really like down there. Shame on you for voting on this. Shame on you. You're letting the environmentalists kill this state. Yes, we all want clean drinking water and clean air. There's no doubt about it, but there's a cost to everything. The millions and millions of dollars the governor threw on our state highways this year when snow didn't even fall. On Martin Luther King weekend, my wife and I are driving down the Parkway South. The snow is out of New Jersey. It's bone dry on the road, and there's a truck salting a dry road with no sleet or freezing rain or snow in sight. Are you kidding me? What he put on the state highways can pollute ways. So he wants us now to tax you. Like I said, we may have to do it. We're going to be the last state in New Jersey to do it. That I promise. Because if anybody comes to me in my administration telling me we got to do it, we better be the last state to do it. And Joe, I hope you can find something that we can litigate, because maybe it's about time we start doing it to them.
I'll look at the legislation right away.
Thank you, sir. That ends my report tonight. I'm sorry for that terrible news after such a fine evening with the youth of Clark. It's amazing what they're doing. There isn't a tax that down in Trenton that they don't like and they want to do, and we got to be the people that do the dirty work. I want council to, and the people at home, because by the time this all happens, very little you will even hear about it or remember, and you're going to be storming the doors of City Hall, Town Hall, saying, "What are you doing to me?" We're on the record here tonight. This is your state legislator and your governor doing this to you. Remember in November, throw out any legislator who doesn't sign a no tax increase policy. If they can't swear that they will not raise taxes, throw them out and put the other guy in. It's ridiculous at this point, and we are here to do the dirty work. Thank you. Sorry about the temperament, but it's got me that aggravated. Have a great night.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We appreciate your fighting for the taxpayer and the residents of Clark.
This resolution is expressing displeasure and opposition to Senate Bill 1073, the RAIN Act, and to the attempt by the state of New Jersey, the governor and legislature, to enact yet another tax upon its residents.
This is going to be by the entire council and second by the entire council. And Mr. Mayor, the floor is yours on this one, sir.
Well, Mr. President, I hate to beat this up again because, you know, this has probably been the biggest hot button I've had in 19 years as your mayor. You know, in a time where our state is drowning in taxes, our governor and our legislature decided to create a rain tax. Now, they want us to monitor the rainwater that comes off commercial and residential properties and start a utility, hence tax you, on a determined amount that we could say goes into our sewer system and out to our reservoir and lakes and ponds and wherever else throughout the community. You know, I had an environmentalist argue with me on Facebook about this, and they said that this is a good thing for the environment. Read it. And I did read the bill, okay? And even if it is a good thing for the environment, that's fine. But how many more taxes are we going to levy upon the people of this state? And the other thing that really annoys me is the fact that in the State House, they enact these laws and they pass it down to the mayors and councils and say, you go collect it. You go collect it. So could you imagine now, we're going to send out a bill for a sewer utility, a rain tax. You're going to get this thing. You're going to go through the roof. And I'm going to spend a half hour, an hour explaining to you in my office what, why, and where this is about. The whole process stinks. The state has to stop taxing less. They also talk about municipality and county properties. There's nothing in this rain tax about state properties. So the water that falls on state properties is okay. Governor Brime put out so much salt and brine this year on state highways, blew through a budget of $300-odd million in salt. There was inches of salt on the parkways, Route 287, the Turnpike, and other roads. That all got washed out into the streams. That's okay. That's not a problem. But in their infinite wisdom, they want us to make it a problem upon you, the New Jersey taxpayers and residents. I think this is ridiculous. This will be enacted, as far as I'm concerned. We will be one of the last towns, if not the very last, to do this. I will have to be bullied. I will have to be threatened to do this. And even then, I might say, absolutely not. It is an embarrassment to the state of New Jersey what's going on in Trenton, that this kind of tax is upon the citizens of this community. A rain tax. Did you ever believe you'd hear something like that? The only other thing I could do is erect a 4.5 square mile umbrella over Clark so it doesn't hit our communities. And that's as ridiculous as this piece of legislation. The legislature should be ashamed of themselves for adding another burden onto the citizens of this state. And, you know, we're playing with numbers and dilly-dallying around. It could be $50 a year, $100 a year. That's not the point. The point is, once there's a tax established, have you ever seen it go down? And you can bet the state of New Jersey will never allow it to go down 5, 10, 20 years from now. The other problem is that they want to get up to 5% sent down to their coffers, or up to $50,000. And we, the township government, is also allowed to keep 5% or up to $50,000 for our budget. The $50,000 is not going to make a difference in the Clark Township budget. The same reason why, as soon as, if they ever could get together, which they seem like they can't, on legalizing marijuana, I have a ordinance already given to the, worked on by our township attorney to not allow the sale of that in this community, because you could keep up to 2 or 3% there. So on $1 million, you're talking about $20,000 or $30,000. The kind of money's not going to make a difference in the township of Clark. but they're looking for another revenue stream to spend. Are they going to take the rain tax in Trenton and put it into the fund for the environment? Well, they might start out doing that, but like the pension fund, they're going to rob it and spend it somewhere else when they're done with it. So, council, I thank you and appreciate you for putting this up, and our attorney for your wonderful work here. Joe, thank you. And hopefully other towns will have some passion and try to be a community that follows in our leadership once again in Clark. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
President?
Mayor. Yes, I was going to go for discussions. Councilwoman Albanese.
I think I just want to mention, as we discussed at our workshop, it is not that we are against clean water. We agree with that in concept, but it doesn't make sense to create an entire bureaucracy of utilities in 565 municipalities across the state and incur all those costs to raise the money. I think there's a better solution. I don't want to repeat what the mayor said, but they should focus on that down in Trenton. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Any other members of the council on this matter? Hearing none, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Albanese.
Yes.
Councilman Barr.
Yes.
Councilman Hund.
Yes.
Councilman Mazzarella.
Yes.
Councilman O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilman Smith.
Yes.
Council President Toll.
Yes. Number 4.